welcome to a new Plugin Guru video. My name is John Skippy Lemcool. I don't know why I'm bowing. It's becoming a habit. Gotta stop that. Hey, so I have a special treat. So I've written some cool demos for this library, and as a treat to you guys, I'm gonna play them and explain some things that I did in each one of these to give you more food for thought. This first one is on the Downtempo track. And by the way, this video is sponsored by my website, pluginguru.com. Please go there if you need inspiring patches. Okay, so for this, I'm going to play it first, and then we'll dissect it a little bit. All right, so here's the Downtempo. And it just rings out forever. Love that. All right, so if you've noticed a couple things, for some reason, I don't know if it's a Logic thing or if it's the way Razor works, but I've saved this and called it back, and I haven't even closed this and reloaded it, and it's forgotten up here the names of the patches already. So I put the names here to make sure we understood the names. So Razor Tine EP is right here, and this sound has no effects on it. Now the bass, let's get earlier in the song when it's louder because it fades out at the end. It's got quite a few effects. It has the voice of God, which these are mostly universal audio effects. I'm a big fan of universal audio. I have an Apollo as my audio interface. It's got a quad processor in it for DSP, so it can do all these effects, and I think we're sitting at about less than half of the processing that is available. So this is a really cool effect. It's an EQ, which has the ability to have a sweepable low end. It's like almost resonant single band EQ. Focusing on the low end, it only goes a certain range. So if I play, I can hit the frequency and spin, and you can see what you can hear. Right in there is a really big spot. So without it, with. When you need that just encompassing surrounding, and then you can control how much you want of it in the final mix. But it's awesome. Then I use the Cambridge EQ just to bump a little bit, about 77. There's just a little dip in the 300s, but it's not even noticeable. The glue, I'm using this in a sidechain configuration. Right here is Mega Macho drums. And I have the kick drum right here. The default layout of Contact gives you, on the output page, 2 stereo outputs. So you have 2 to play with unless you go in and modify it to be more. And I've actually, on one of the tracks I'm going to show you in another video, I made it more outputs. So I took this, and now limiter is the mix where it sounds smaller already, and then when you're having drums playing, right? That kick drum's now being put into the equation for the limiter with everything else. So you can either set it to stereo 1 and keep it in the stereo mix, and now it no longer is going into the limiter chain. The cool thing with Contact is we have set up right here. Is it here? Yes. So we have transient, saturation, all this stuff happening for that stereo chain for the limiter. But if you want to bypass that and keep it in the stereo chain, you keep it here. If you put it to stereo 2, it now is available to go over here and you hit the plus button in your sequence DAW in Logic. And now that makes the kick drums show up. Oh, wait. I got to go over here and say stereo 2. There we go. And now it's over here. And I have set up bus 1. And you option click here to get the volume to be 0, so it's just 0 dB. And that sends it over to this chain right here. So if I bring this up, now I have 2 kicks playing. Same kick, but two channels. Just turn the volume down on this. Invisibly, the sound is past full volume so that now the glue can pick that up and use it for sidechaining for the compressor. So it's triggering the compressor when I play the kick drum. And that makes the bass duck whenever this kick drum plays. That's how you get bass drums to stand out when you have huge, huge sustaining bass. If you had a big sustaining bass pound and you had the kick drum hitting that's like a hitting a wall. It's not going to do anything. So I've pulled them apart so that the bass synth sound goes away when the kick hits because it's being sidechained to make it do that. So that's what. And then there's a single band EQ at the end of this, which is cutting anything above 570 hertz. There's nothing really up there. Just there seems some weird energy, so I wanted to diminish that, so I did that. The bells. It plays just a little small part in little side to the piano. Okay. Cinemax Falling is a really cool sound, and it's the very beginning. That's it. That's all you gotta do. You got this really cool thing to start something. Lost Eternity is a nice. And then I use the mod wheel to twist it. And then the magic is this sound, and I'll have to tell you, it was really funny. I played that, right? And I first played it. I just played it in. I wasn't even thinking about it. And then I said, I should go back and add some sort of mod wheel thing. And I wasn't clear on what the mod wheel did. When it goes all the way up, it becomes a hit. It's a really bright synth sound. Now, I have a couple cool things on this. I have the Lexicon, which is a wonderful, wonderful sounding reverb from Universal Audio. When you call out the Lexicon reverb by default, solo is turned on. Turn that off, and now this wet and dry mix controls the percentage of your mix of reverb. So you can get to be less than 100% every time you call it up. It's great if it's 100% if you're sending it to an effect bus, but I have it on a channel here. So since it's on a channel, I don't want it to be 100%. If I hit it 100%, that's all reverb. I don't want that. I want mostly the sound and, like 40% reverb. And then after that, my good frienders at Yuhi made this a while ago. It's the most crazy more feedback machine too. It's 4-tap delay with incredible capabilities of changing pitch and doing all the dubstep blah, 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 kind of things, and just a cool combo. So with those two, the reverb and then the delay afterwards, and you want the reverb before the delay because the delay now has reverb in its taps. If I reversed it the other way around and it was delay first and then reverb, the delays would be delaying and you wouldn't hear any reverb. So I wanted that order. That's what makes this sounds like that. Without these, that's what it sounds like. So, and it was all just one of those happy accidents. I can't claim any brilliance there because I want to do something with the mod wheels. And I brought it up at the time and hit it, and it was that hit, and I was like, oh my God, that is so cool. So here, listen to this. We'll just solo it for a second because this is just really cool. So no mod wheel. I said to bring it up slowly. Then I bring it right back down. So that's the basics between that sound. And then the drums. And by the way, on the drums, this track, the MIDI file, is available to download, and this drum kit is available to download on the Rotten Razor, and I think I'll put them on the Mega Mantra Drums page too. So the drum parts and the patterns and the kit for all three of my demos, actually four, because Seth is going to give me the MIDI files to his, are free to download to Mega Mantra Contact 5 owners. We're using kits that aren't part of the wave maps. The wave maps I never did convert Downtempo Thriller because this is using all of the tools and the effects and stuff that's inside of the Contact 5 version, so they wouldn't be very helpful. You can download them if you have the wave version and you can play them, but they won't sound the way they sound here. Whereas if you download this and play this, you'll have that pattern and that kit. I will probably put the kick to the stereo mix so that it doesn't disappear on you if you're not doing multi-channel output for it. But if you want to use it this way, you have to set that one kick on E down here. You want to set that to output 2 and treat it similar to this to get it to stick and stand out. Okay. Then on the I didn't do too much crazy stuff. I just used the mastering EQ for a half dB at 96 and just a little bit off the top and just a little 1 dB at 4 for a little added energy and down half dB at 160 to clean up the muds just very little. The one thing I will say that is wonderful is right here is a high pass filter and I have it at 40 Hertz. So this is killing anything below 40 Hertz. So I have all that crazy EQ on the bass, bumping up extra at 70 and all that stuff. And I can get away with that because in my master channel, I have a high pass filter. So if I didn't have this, listen to this for a minute. So let's say start at 8 and play. Here's without it. It's just way too much. It's all super muddy, right? 40 or 50. So anything below 40 Hertz, all this big super high energy sub stuff, that's a huge amount of energy. You got to get rid of it. You can't keep that in your mix. If you keep it in your mix, number one, when you normalize, it's going to sound really soft. And number two, it's just going to be so bass heavy that it doesn't sound right. So use a high pass filter. Now, if I didn't have this, you would easily just go over here. There's EQ, single band. And from here you can call up, there we go, low cut. And set that to 45. Keep this about there. As you can see, it's on my voice. So there we go. Test, 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 test. So about 45. So high pass filters are an option if you don't have the Universal Audio's mastering EQ with the high pass filter right here. And then the other thing I'm using is just a limiter, and it's just doing like maybe 3 dB. I could put this and make this much louder if I wanted to, but I'm not trying to win any loudness wars. Just want it to mix and glue together cohesively. So that's what I did for this mix. Up a couple things here. So I want to have the little purple chain turned on. I'll show you a couple of the logic tricks. So that way, as I change from one patch to another, it will change the interface for that. If I go down here, Mega Mantra Drums, boom, it changes to Mega Mantra Drums. All from one window. So that makes it a lot more, instead of having a whole bunch of windows open up and closing and managing. Now when I play this, I have to turn off, this is the called low latency mode, because if I turn this on, there's a huge delay of about a half second before my voice. So I turn that off and now I hear my voice in real time. Because I have quite a few effects on the master chain to get the sound that I want for the mix. So this is the mix the way that you hear it in the final, but not at 96 kilohertz. This is the 48 kilohertz audio version. So here we go. I'm going to kill my microphone. So this is kind of straight ahead. I'm just playing parts. Like I said, cat and mouse is a sound which, and LFO tool, solo these two part, play, and I can actually from here. So LFO tool is creating the sidechain compression from a kick drum effect. Hear that? And then I can go in and I can go in and draw the shape that I want the compressor to be creating if I want. So it artificially is recreating the effect of that compression, side compression with a kick drum. So I don't have to do that somewhere else. I tried it actually with a kick drum and it wouldn't do the right shape. For this sound, this was far easier to do. Wobbling is a bass sound in the library. So wobbling is right here. And when you hear reverb pop up, that's because I got the module going up and it brings up the reverbs. Okay, so just doing stuff like that. Tweaker's the middle section. Tweaker I just added at the end. I wanted to have some sort of a fun break right here between one section going back. I didn't just want to go into it, you know. And a lot of records that I like to listen to, there's pauses and funny things happen and stuff like that. So I kind of did a thing based on thinking like that. So I put a stereo delay into a flanger. So it's slowly doing that kind of effect, and it lasts for a long time. I timed it out, got the time I wanted. I brought my feedback up quite a bit from the stereo delay so that and I timed it out so it lasts a while. And then I just took Cat und Maus while it was playing from the sequence with the sequencer playing, so that I would get the I recorded that, I bounced it as audio, then I reversed the audio. So this right here, if I solo this, that is a reversed hit with additional effects on top of it. I have I put the Moog filter and I spun it over here to high pass filter mode and brought up the resonance, and then all I did was I automated starting about here and then going down so that it would bring low end in as we got closer to beat 1. And then I took a crash cymbal and recorded from Mega Macho Drums this crash and then reversed it. So that's right here. And the two together is what you get for the breakdown. So when it goes, let's see, turn this off. Oh, tweaker's really loud. One, two, one. So, you know. And then I added a little tambourine part second time through. All right. And that's basically what you have for this demo. And this one the trick is this. So I first did this at 48K. And then I wanted to do it at 96 kilohertz and make it a stereo mix for the version you can download. And audio files don't automatically get upsampled to 96 kilohertz. So thank goodness it was only 2 samples. So I took these 2 samples and I deleted them after I had saved so that they were on the computer in a folder. It had saved them when it saved. When you go save as, you can choose either you want it to be a package or a folder. If you choose folders, it will spit out the audio into folders that is used in the song, so you can use it in other songs. If it's a package, then it's just one thing and the audio is nested inside there and you can't get to it. So I saved it as a folder version, so then I could bring, after I changed the 96 kilohertz sample rate, I dragged back in that reverse hit and the reverse crash cymbal audio, and it asks if you want to change your song to that sampling rate or convert, and you hit convert and it will upsample the 2 samples that I had to 96 kilohertz. So that allowed me to get this to 96 kilohertz. Now, the next song I'm going to show you, I didn't do that to, so it's only at 44.1 because there's a lot more audio that's been bounced, because doing the dubstep kind of thing is about bouncing little phrases and stuff to make up the big phrase. Let's keep going real quickly. The master channel, a little bit different. I have the since it's techno and the kick drum is hitting really sweet between 30 and 40, I brought the high pass filter only to 30, not to 40. If I brought it to 40, it killed a little bit too much of the low end juice. Then there's a little bit of glue action, which is a wonderful compressor. Then I got a multi-band compressor for the multi-band, and then at the end, with hardly anything being pumped because there's so much going on the limiter, just wanted to hang on and keep things from not going above 0 dB. All right, so there you go. Okay, I wanted to show off the dubstep sounds and the dubstep kits in Mega Macho drums. And this one I used the technique of bouncing down little one measure or less phrases from some of the different patches and then stringing them together to make this dubstep line. So let me play this real quick. It's loud and obnoxious, just like it's supposed to be. Oh yeah, there you go. Another love song. Love how these ballads start so nicely and so gentle and soft and sweet. Again, when you save a song and load it back in Logic Pro, it loses the names. But this is always rotten. I made the point for all these demos to only use just default patches in their default state. Yeah, that was for the, use that for the wow. I used that. And another patch that was being used was Jetpack for the. So you pull it apart, you go, that's what I used for the boom, 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 boom. So the process was, which patch was it? Yeah, so it, what was this? The note? Yeah. So it was A flat. So I did that, then, oh wait. Yeah, so it's from rough squealer to the eighth note filth pulse to the eighth note, and I used the mod wheel to okay, so that's the basics for that idea. Then this original, Always Rotten was doing a pitch kind of a thing on top. All right, so just quickly, that's the basics of it. Trick wise, I think the kick drum in Mega Macho, is it sent to, no? I think this one here, believe it or not, it's a stereo mix straight out of Mega Macho drums for that drum sound, which is really impressive. So it sounds like, and again, this MIDI file and this kit will be available for download on the website so that you can So that will be available to download. It's based actually on a groove from the Groove Player. I don't remember which one on the dubstep category here. But one of these here is the basis of this that I just started with. And then I modified it some, added a few parts. I played the beginning part. And that kick drum, if you hear, it's been tricked out a little bit. It's got some of the, let's see here. Oh, there it is. So I have lo-fi turned on, along with the transient punch. The transient designer is maxed out. It's just to make it as obscene as possible, right? So that's the basics of that. Now the stereo mix channel is a little bit of high-end sweetening, a little low-end sweetening, and then just +3 on the mastering limiter. Not anything too exciting. Just EQ for hitting certain points. Okay, so that's the way I did these demos. Those are the sounds I used and some of the techniques, and I hope that helped you. And the last video I'm going to do early next week will be on how I made the snapshot file that you upload. That will help you automatically get all the patches to show up in the list right here. I'm going to teach you guys how to do that. So that comes next week. All right. So thank you again for your support, for buying this library and other libraries. Happy Valentine's Day, and talk to you later.